Good morning. Today we're going to do a very quick video on some information about a very major mental health disorder, schizophrenia. Alright, so I got my little buddy here. This is Ellie the elephant, who's going to help me with this a little bit. One time I had a student ask me about what I thought the worst mental illness is, which is a question I really can't answer because none of them are fun. All right, but in a lot of ways, I think schizophrenia is one that is pretty bad, and you're going to see why. And I think the major reason for it is because by nature, people with schizophrenia often don't understand the severity and realize that they are having some of the problems that they are. Sometimes with other disorders, the person is much more aware that they're struggling. That's not always the case with schizophrenia, which is one of the reasons it makes it hard to treat. So for that reason, I think it's pretty bad. Schizophrenia is one that is a lot of people don't understand, is not split personality. This is not a disorder where you have a person who is one personality and then another that you see in movies. That's not what it is. True, sometimes people with schizophrenia can act like they're different because their moods are different or their thinking is different, but they're not different personalities. All right, schizophrenia literally means split mind, but what it really is, the best way to understand it, is a split from reality. People with schizophrenia it's a thought disorder where they don't understand and have trouble with the lines, blurring those lines between what's real and what isn't. So for example, you guys know this, all right, this is real as a punching bag, but it's not a real elephant, all right? People with schizophrenia might believe it is. They might be hallucinating, might see what they think is a real elephant over here. And they have trouble understanding the difference. This is exactly why this is a hard disorder to diagnose with children, because kids often do blend them. I have an imaginary friend, they're convinced that it is there. That's cute for a child, it isn't so cute for a 25-year-old. So some of the major symptoms of schizophrenia, also keep in mind that the person who has them doesn't have to have all of these, right? But I would say the most common symptom are delusions. Delusions are false beliefs. A delusion is, I believe something to be true, again, that really isn't. The most common ones in schizophrenia are paranoid or delusions of persecution, belief that someone or something is out to get you. All right, so thinking that your neighbor is watching you and videotaping your home, assuming they're not. Believing that, I had a client one time who thought there was radon in his house, that someone was putting it there, all right, or that the aliens were out for you, all right. So those are, again, assuming they're not true, those are what we call delusions of persecution. Most people with schizophrenia are not dangerous, but here is where they sometimes will blur that line, in the sense that if I really believe that the pizza delivery guy is someone coming to kill me, I could potentially act out in self-defense. We'll talk later on about the difference between, in a legal sense, of not guilty by reason of insanity, and that's what we're really getting at. Again, we'll put that off, but in this case, the person honestly thinks they're in danger when they're not. Okay. Another common symptom of schizophrenia are hallucinations. Hallucinations are sensory experiences that the person believes are real. As a matter of fact, in brain scans, the part of the brain that's lighting up is the part that would be if it was real. For example, if I am imagining something sitting over there in the corner, maybe I was just imagining this guy, all right, I know that I'm imagining it. That's my frontal lobe thinking about it, but I know it isn't real. People with schizophrenia honestly perceive it as if it is, and the part of their brain that's being lit up is their occipital lobe. So to them, that thing in the corner is real. Hallucinations are often visual like that, but they also can be auditory, hearing things, or sometimes tactile. They might feel that there's something under their skin. Again, not oh, I have itchy, it feels like I have bugs under my skin. You know they're not, it just feels like that. These individuals, to them, it is that. All right, so again, it's a break from reality. All right, another symptom of schizophrenia is what we call loose associations. This is where their brain is kind of jumping from one thing to the next, and so what they talk about or how they respond to you doesn't make sense. It doesn't really fit. You might ask them a question and they say something that sounds completely off base. That's because they're making associations and links to things that you're not. If I say, for example, hey, what's for dinner tonight? And they say, oh my God, there's a baseball game on TV. Obviously not today, but whatever. To you, that wouldn't make sense. It doesn't seem to answer the question. To them, it does, because they're thinking, wait, she said, what's for dinner? Tonight, I think, is Tuesday, and we're having pizza, and the last time I had pizza, there was a baseball game on. To them, it all connects, but they're making associations that the rest of us aren't able to follow. Another symptom is what we call flat or inappropriate affect. Affect is just a fancier word for mood, but this also goes with this distorted thinking. They may be thinking one thing, and so their emotions come out inappropriately because they're thinking about something that the rest of us aren't. This may lead them to say things that sound angry when nothing really is should be making them angry, or they may just talk flat. They may talk like this regardless of what they're saying. So the emotion doesn't match the situation. Again, out of touch with reality. Some people with schizophrenia are catatonic. They can be in like a trance-like state where they have a condition called waxy flexibility. You can move their limbs in certain ways and they'll hold it and they're just oblivious to everything that's going on. A last symptom of schizophrenia is what we call just lack of appropriate functioning. They're so out of touch with reality, so dissociated from what's going on that they can't take care of themselves. This would be, for example, someone who, sometimes a lot of the people we see homeless who are talking to themselves or talking to the trash can, the crazy cat lady who, is in their home and not aware that they have 50 dead cats sitting around. Again, some people, this doesn't mean that some people that are hoarders, some people who hoard understand what they're doing. We're talking for schizophrenia, people that don't. They're oblivious to it. They're out of touch with reality. So they often don't take their meds, they often don't wash, they may not be able to take care of themselves. And this is what happens. One of the reasons why schizophrenia is, like we said, so difficult is that, you'll have a person who maybe is found doing something, they're not in touch, maybe they're dangerous to themselves, they're wandering around, not in touch with their reality, they're put in a hospital, after a few days they're on medication, and they seem better, and then they let them out, but their paranoia takes over. They're convinced there's nothing wrong, it's wrong with us, people trying to help them are really trying to hurt them, any medication is really designed to kill them or damage them, so they don't want to do it, and they're not cooperative, and it just becomes a cycle. Other thing about schizophrenia, we know that it is largely a genetic disorder. It's not completely. There's something in the environment that is triggering it in people that are predisposed to it. We aren't always sure what it is. There's thinking it could be something prenatal, like a virus, stressors, maybe certain drugs, but we're not really sure. If we knew exactly what the trigger was, we would have a better treatment. Medications work. A lot of the antipsychotic drugs are effective. The problem is people don't take them. The other thing that's horrible and scary about schizophrenia is that it often is first discovered or first shows up in young adulthood. Again, no one knows exactly why that is. Is it because of stressors at that time? Is it because of the end of adolescence? Whatever. All right, but a lot of times this will happen with younger people just leaving home, maybe starting college, starting a career, and all of a sudden they're blindsided with these. And it may take them a long time, if they ever really understand that their perception of reality isn't right. They may think that my guy here is real. So that's a little bit of a discussion of schizophrenia. Hopefully that clears it up a little, some of the misconceptions about what's a really, really very, very damaging and destructive mental health disorder. Thank you for today. Over now.